think a lot of people don't realize the fact that if your name's not on the lease, then technically you're homeless.
The set of circumstances that that results or that finishes off in somebody being homeless, it's not just one formula. A lot of it has to do with, as I was saying before, the situation that you were born into. There's, of course, various kinds of mental disability, psychological disability play into it. Certainly addiction plays a huge role.
My reason was mismanagement of my life, not taking care of the responsibilities that I put myself in. Not going to work, not paying rent, not doing anything, just allowing myself to succumb to just, I can't even say drugs, just the attitude of, for lack of a better word, forget it all.
If your family has an expectation of you that you won't use drugs, and then you get arrested because you're in a car with some people who are using drugs, and they're like, well, you can't come in my house. Well, suddenly you're homeless.
My reason was I was incarcerated for 24 and a half years.
It's a circumstance. They have created, they've just burned one bridge too many. And I don't know many people who haven't burned a bridge. But it's the first bridge that you burn is not the one that will make you homeless. But if you don't really learn from those mistakes, or you learn the wrong lesson from those mistakes.
I was relapse. I moved back home and I relapsed and everything went down the drain. So I came back up here.
Intergenerationally, you have issues. If your father was abused as a child, you may be abused as a child. And you may want to, as a young person, you may choose that you're not gonna live under that circumstance. Well, suddenly you're homeless.
A lot of the homeless people, they're like caught up in what they're doing. They're just kind of like walking through blind. They don't see the issue at hand.
It can happen. It can happen to anybody. It can happen to you. And you can be the president of a company and become homeless. It's all in the choices you make. And if you make bad choices, then bad things are going to happen. So, I mean, and I always been this way in life. Like, I would never like look at a homeless person and say, oh man, get away from me, you homeless trash, or stuff like that, But actually being in that situation, I felt more of a bond to them because I actually knew what they was going through. I actually felt that hopelessness, like I cannot get my life together. All I can do is just exist and not even wanting to do that at some time. Because it's a certain disparity that comes with that, because you have everybody around you, they're going around about their life, but yet they look at you as though you'll be low standard because you're not able to be on the level that they are. And I mean, us as a society, we got this like bad stigma that if you're homeless, then you're beneath me because I'm supporting myself, I'm working, or I'm doing this. You can just do something that you don't think is that bad. Lose your job, can't pay your bills, lose your home, and be homeless just like that.
The fact of the matter is there are probably homeless people right around us who are not what we would typically say are homeless people. If you are homeless because you don't have a home, but you're staying with your friend Joe, you can die.
It's not like it was said, like, get out the way, but it was the looks. It was the actual, walking around. It was just the eyes, when you look at a person and they don't even look at you like, you're on their level, it's very disheartening. And then also, it's a little angry. It's a little, upsetting because it's like, hey, I'm a person too,
They are human beings, and they were born, and someone gave them a name, and someone had the best hopes for them, and someone did their best to, give them nutrition and clothes and get them started in school, and for all sorts of reasons, it doesn't always work out.
I think being compassionate is probably the biggest thing you can do on a moment-to-moment basis. When someone comes up to your car with a sign that says homeless, to not respond negatively to them. I'm not saying you should hang a $50 bill out for everyone who does that, but to treat them with as much compassion as possible is very important.
Just get the understanding that, you know, a little bit more compassion, that's all it takes. You know, a little understanding.
People need support. You know, they can't just open up the one ad and they don't have a car and they're just out of prison or they don't even have, you know, a dollar. It's disingenuous to say, oh, anyone can do that. I think it's silly and it's unrealistic, and I think that it is just ignoring the basics of human nature to say, oh, anybody can do that. It's not true.
Strangely for me, I felt more camaraderie being homeless than I found when I was actually, you know, a part of the community out there with people, because you had people who had nothing and they were willing to share that nothing that they had if you had less than them. And I mean, it was shocking to me because, you know, when I became homeless, I had nothing. Only thing I had was a backpack on my back. I had a bunch of clothes, but I did not have access to them because of the situation I put myself in. And, you know, I had people literally, like, give me a wardrobe because I had nothing.
You know, I don't think that some government policy with some fancy name is going to do it. It's going to take, you know, really energetic, smart, competent, idealistic people who don't care about not making that much money and who want to, you know, and who want to stick with it for several years. It's the cumulative effect of those kind of people that are going to help make society fairer, you know, little tiny bit by little tiny bit. So
I found out it's a lot of people out there who actually care, you know, because before I'm working, I was in my own world, in my own little bubble, and I felt as though, you know, people didn't care about people. You know, but when I became homeless and saw, you know, the countless people come out and just give out things like cookies, give out pamphlets, actually feed us, actually give people clothes, also just giving time. You know what I'm saying, to come in and try to help talk to people, try to spread good words and things like that, it was actually shocking to me. And then you also have like a bunch of nonprofit organizations that do it just because they trying to help another person get through life or get through that hard time and get better, you know.
all of a sudden you realize that you're not some, you know, some knight on a big white horse who's going to ride off into the sunset and save the world, and that, you know, this is real life. I was at a 5-mile race sponsored by the Baltimore Roadrunners Club at Lake Montebello in the middle of January last year, and I saw all these people walking around before the race with back on my feet sweatshirts, and I was interested. And then a few minutes before the race, they all circled up and with their arms around each other, and they started saying the Serenity Prayer. I just thought it was so cool, and I just thought at that moment, I'm definitely going to join this.
It has been great for me because I enjoy running. That's one of my hobbies. That's what I love to do. I love to exercise. And when I look at all the attitudes of all the members of Back on My Feet, their support in us in our getting back on our feet, and that's what it is. Their name is just, it's perfect for it because they have a sincere desire to help us to get back on our feet, and they offer assistance in helping us to obtain employment or to get further education, and whatever your goals is, whatever your plans are, they're there to support us with it. And the only thing that they require us is to have attendance, you know, participate, to be a team player.
It gave me an opportunity to make a commitment to something and try to keep it, you know, try to actually do what I set out to do, even though almost every part of it goes contrary to what I do in my life. I don't run. I don't get up early, you know, and I'm not the most social person. So, you know, all the things that was asked of me was barriers in my life. So it gave me an opportunity to get out there and do stuff that I never did before. And I mean, it was a great reward because you got to meet genuine people who cared about you and didn't know you, didn't know anything about you. Like some of the team members we have know nothing about Christopher Place, you know, actual curriculum of what they do, but yet at the same time they come out and they run with us and they make us feel like we're a part of their life.
Just like there are crazy people everywhere. Present company accepted.
Are we on?
Yeah.
30.
52.
You really have to know?
No.
29.
Ah, she gonna say it after.